It's been a little bit of a while since I've done a video here for Camber, and like many of you, I've been feeling the effects of this very, very crazy year. It's definitely been one out of the ordinary.
Right, people, listen up. It's a fucking lockdown right now.
Last year I made a video with some tips on how to make 2020 your year, and coincidentally we're going to move on to 2021 and how you can get the best chance possible for yourself in the current situation. And the first tip is going to be quite simply be realistic with your expectations. This has been a hell of a year this year for everyone. Businesses, people have lost their lives, people have lost their livelihoods. The whole world has been turned upside down on its head, and you can't fail to notice that. Things will not immediately return to normal next year. There's a high likelihood that the majority of the year will be in exactly the same circumstances that we have had this year as well. Certainly from what all of the medical advice and the science is saying as well. So take that with a pinch of salt. How are you going to approach next year? Are you going to compete next year if that is the case? We did get a heck of a lot of races done in a very short amount of time, but it's likely that there's still not going to be any fans. It's likely that, you know, we're still going to see these increased restrictions on who can come to events. That means your partners, your sponsors, your loved ones, your family, they're not going to be able to see you at the track as well. So does that affect your decision making as well? So be realistic with what you're expecting from next year, I think would be the first key point. Second one, have a detailed battle plan. And this is something that I'm going to help you with in the next couple of weeks. We're going to have a little download available for you. We're going to have a Camber Media battle plan free of charge. You can just download it and fill it in and use it. But have a detailed plan of attack for 2021. What do I mean by that? I mean, what do you need? What do you need in terms of finances, in terms of supplies, in terms of expenses? What do you need in terms of support? Do you need crew? Do you need help with social media? Do you need help with, creating media? Do you need help for reaching out to sponsors? Things like that. How are you going to pay for it all? Who's paying for it? Everything that you can possibly get down on this bit of paper that you can then go, right, I'm going to do this. And deadlines as well. Deadlines are a huge factor that, constantly get missed by a lot of drivers, and it's going to be the one thing that sets you apart from the majority of other people is the preparation that you put into your season ahead. For number 3, on that battle plan perhaps, is have a plan B. What is your backup strategy? What are you going to go and do if the shit hits the fan? You can't get the funding that you need. You can't get the drive that you need. Your car breaks down. What if XYZ happens? What are you going to do? So have a think of worst case scenario, how you're going to keep going, because it is important, especially this year. This year, if anything else, has taught you how to be resilient, how to overcome the hurdles that are going on. So that's what you want to think to 2021. What could possibly throw a spanner in the works, and how am I as a racing driver going to overcome it? Not just for me as a driver, but for my team, and for my partners and sponsors as well. Number 4 is something that I don't think a lot of you even contemplate, and that's actually having fun. Remember, this is something that you're doing in your free time. For the majority of you that are watching this video, this is going to be a hobby, not a career, a hobby. And I don't know about you, but I have enough stress in my daily 9 to 5 without going over into a weekend and taking all that stress in with me as well. So try and take off all of that stress, or as much of that stress as you possibly can. And if you can't, find other ways to have fun and include your audience, include your partners in that fun. For instance, for me, one of the most enjoyable experiences I've had in the past 12 months was last year at Driftland, where I was lucky enough to actually get a ticket for that 4 hours of Lochgelly. It was a stupid little 4-hour race where you took a car that I think it was like under a 1.4 litre car, and you got teams and you did a 4-hour race. It was just barmy, but again, that single-handedly brought back to me the enjoyment, the excitement, the fun, just the laughter of taking part in that. So again, not saying you have to do something like that, but make sure you enjoy your year ahead. Make sure you've got plenty of time set aside for taking stock of what you're doing and actually being happy about it. Number 5 would be to be flexible with what you are doing. Now that goes hand in hand with tips 2 and 3 about having a battle plan and having a plan B. Given how up in the air this year has been, you can expect more of the same for sure next year as well. Races could be cancelled, races could be postponed, races could be rescheduled and sent to a completely different part of the country. These things can and very well might happen next year. How are you going to deal with that? Your main sponsor could go belly up weeks before you're due to go racing. How does that affect you? You have to be flexible. You have to be prepared for anything happening. You might have a sudden last change of heart and decide to go into a brand new series. Don't be nailed down to whatever it is that you're doing. At least entertain the idea of other things, other opportunities coming your way, and that will serve you really, really well for the season ahead. 6th one is going to be very difficult to practice what you preach, but we'll try and give you positive ways to do it. And the 6th one is be confident. And what do I mean when I say be confident? Be confident simply means being comfortable with who you are in a number of ways. As a racing driver, as a team member, as a business partner, as a friend. All of that comes across whenever you're speaking to anyone, whenever you're trying to pitch yourself to anyone, whenever you're being interviewed, or whenever you're out and about in the paddock as well. Now, I have a little bit more experience than most in struggling with this last one. So I had a job obviously up at Knockhill as a racing commentator, but I was one of the most socially anxious and awkward people that you've ever met. Now, if you got me without the microphone, chances are that you would really, really struggle to have gotten a conversation out of me, because I struggled to give eye contact, I struggled to find things to say, and I struggled to have the confidence to actually engage in a conversation. With you as a racing driver, you have the confidence in the safety of your vehicle, you have the confidence in your team, you have the confidence of your supporting partners and your friends and your family. But as soon as you get out of the car, and if you're not confident and comfortable with who you are as a person, then that's going to come across. And I would say ultimately that would then go back to the having fun. You need to be comfortable and confident and happy with who you are as a person. And then suddenly you'll find that, that attracts other people as well. Now, the problem with that is that I can't give you a silver bullet to say, this is what you need to do to be more confident. But if you find issues with you being confident and speaking to people and, being able to be around people, then there's numerous things that you can do. You can speak to professionals, you can watch YouTube tutorials on how to be more comfortable with eye contact, things like that. But just acknowledging that in the first place is the first step to actually bettering yourself and bringing that on. And what being confident does is that it just rounds off that package of who you are as a racing driver. It just gives it that extra little bit of polish. So there you go, guys. Hopefully that's 6 tips that will help you improve your chances for getting onto the grid for next year. As always, if you need anything at all, just give me a phone. Just have a chat with me, have a blether, whatever it is. Get in touch. More than happy to help discuss any way in which I can possibly help get you sorted out for the season ahead. As usual, phone calls are just free of charge. It doesn't cost anything. Just give me a phone. I'm always there for you. But I do always accept donations of Haribo and Ice Donuts. They always go down a treat. Joking aside though, guys, moving forward, I feel like I've got my mojo back for the videos I really enjoy sitting here and having a chat with you guys, even if I'm just rambling for what looks like 10 minutes. I do hope they're of some value to you. And on that note, I want to try and take a different approach to the videos as well, because up until now, a lot of the videos have been, oh, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that, you know, this is rubbish. And instead, I want to try and take a more softly approach and a more helpful approach, and try and give you actionable things that you can do to help move things forward. I think that's much more use to you, and cutting down on the negatives and trying to give you actual positive things that you can do. So hopefully that is something that comes out. You know, I'm Scottish. We bitch and moan about everything. But in the meantime, guys, have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Looking forward to hearing what you are up to next season. So get in touch. And yeah, until the next time, take it easy. Peace out.